This
Please
meeting is
leave,
being recorded.
please leave questions until the end. Right. Please leave questions until the presentation, end of the presentation. Captioning is available by pressing the CC button at the bottom of your screen. Please be respectful. Next slide. Welcome and the introduction is April. Agenda will be April. News we are watching will be Rio Goodwin Perez. Voters registration discussing will be everybody. And what's coming up next will be April. Next slide.
Thanks, April. So I want to run quickly through news that we're watching, just because we've been doing this every meeting, and I think it's been helpful for me, and I hope it's been helpful for you guys. Greg, are you here, and do you want to talk about Kiki's Law? Okay, I don't think he's here. So you guys know that we've been following Kiki's Law, and last week, I believe it was last week on Friday or Thursday, Kiki's Law did pass the Senate, and now it is moving to the House. It got 37 votes in favor, which is seven more than they needed. And it is being called on May 13th. It's a hearing with the Immigration and Human Rights Committee, and the coalition of folks who are pushing this law are asking for us to submit witness slips. So we're going to drop a link into the chat that goes directly to the ilga.gov website for you to be able to go ahead and submit your witness slips. And after the meeting, I can also send out some resources for those of us who are not as familiar with submitting witness slips and maybe want to go through the information so that you feel comfortable submitting. Karthik actually gave a presentation for us during our legislative advocacy series about submitting witness slips, and it's a really great, succinct presentation. So I will send that out as well. So expect to get an email from me encouraging you guys to submit witness slips. And you can also follow the link that's getting dropped into the chat. And then something else that I thought that you guys would want to know about, the Department of Justice has sued Illinois and is seeking Illinois' voter data to purge suspected non-citizens. So the DOJ is saying that they just want to basically have the information about registered voters, and are it's all kind of a ruse, is what officials who have previously worked at the Department of Justice are saying, that they are basically going to um, mismanage and misuse the voter data. So the Illinois State Board of Elections has refused to comply. They have previously handed over an incomplete list with redacted information. 29 other states are facing lawsuits from the Department of Justice. Six states have had the cases dismissed, and judges have said that the Department of Justice has no right to access the databases in those states. So Illinois officials are hoping that that same thing occurs here. But I do think that it is important for us to be aware of. And let me, Karthik says, yes, watch the witness presentation. And guys, I can't really see if people raise hands, so feel free to just kind of chime in if you have questions today. And then I figured that most of us on the call would be aware of the most recent Supreme Court decision regarding um, gerrymandering and district maps. But I thought that it was important for us to spend the majority of our day today responding to this attack on the Voting Rights Act. So before we talk about like how can we respond as a coalition, I wanted to kind of give an overview about the recent news for those of us who maybe haven't been watching the news as closely lately. So, just last week, the Supreme Court released a decision in a case called Louisiana versus Calais. And for those of us, it affects the Voting Rights Act, specifically Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And for those of us who don't know as much about the Voting Rights Act, it was passed in 1965 in response to the work of Black organizers during the Civil Rights Movement. Those of you who are familiar with the March at Selma, they were organizing for the right to vote in Selma, Alabama, and throughout the state of Alabama. And that's what the Freedom Rides also focused on. And basically, they were very involved in the passage of the Voting Rights Act. And it states that individuals cannot be discriminated against because of their race, and everyone should have access to voting, no matter which marginalized group they come from. And so, to give us a little bit of information about this most recent case and how it affects the Voting Rights Act, um, in after 2020 census, the state of Louisiana was awarded 6 seats in the House. The Louisiana census found that a third of the residents in Louisiana were Black. But the Louisiana State Legislature that same year approved district maps, which were had previously been used, and in those district maps, um, 5 out of the 6 maps were majority white districts, which doesn't really represent the actual racial makeup of the state of Louisiana. Um, Black voters, in response to this, sued the state, saying that the maps violated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which prohibits any voting practice that results in the denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race, color, or membership in a language minority groups, excuse me. So basically, that means that you can't be discriminated against because of your race, the color of your skin, your membership in a marginalized group, and that everyone should have equal access to voting and should not have their votes repressed. So in 2022, in response to the Black voters in Louisiana filing a lawsuit, a district judge ruled that the maps did likely violate the Voting Rights Act. And in 2023, the state was required to redraw district maps, which led to the creation of 2 majority Black districts, which correctly represented the racial makeup of the state of Louisiana. In 2024, a group of non-African American voters sued the state of Louisiana for the new maps, which correctly represented the state. And they said that the new maps violated the 14th and the 15th Amendments. The case was heard by a panel of 3 federal district judges who ruled that the new map went against the Constitution. So after this occurred, petitions were filed with the Supreme Court, who heard the case, and that's where we get to this most recent decision in this past week, which decided in a 6-3 decision along party lines. So the GOP judges voted um, that the new maps were illegal racial gerrymanders, which basically means that the section of the Voting Rights Act that protects against discrimination um, for your race in the voting process is basically null and void at this point because of the way that the second article has, or the second section has been used historically since 1965 to
They in my purse?
basically reflect correct demographics in the state. So
You're right.
the way that people use the second
I'm sure it was
section
where I
is
thought was a good
that
place for them in
oh,
that moment.
sorry, Elena, do you mind
Sorry,
muting yourself?
sorry.
No problem. Um, So I'm so sorry. I got distracted like ADHD. So basically, the second section has been used historically in relationship to maps, demographic maps of different states to correctly draw districts. So state officials would look at the racial makeup of states and use the racial makeup, demographic makeup of different states to correctly draw districts. So as you guys know, this is obviously very contentious. Gerrymandering happens all the time, but the Voting Rights Act did protect individuals who were marginalized and their access to voting. So under this new court rule, the state can basically say that any map that correctly reflects a minority and draws a district that maybe favors a specific minority is racist because it's like walking on the rights of people who are white. So obviously, this is a very upsetting ruling, and it really will open the door for especially southern states to create district maps that dilute regions of people of color so that communities that are marginalized have less voting power. And many of you guys already are aware of this, but this is definitely a tactic that is being used in the run up to the general election in November because the current administration is very worried about kind of the backlash to the policies that they have been implementing throughout this current administration. So, yeah, so it's very important that we have a very direct and loud response to this decision and that we're being proactive as a statewide network to engage people who are marginalized and could become further marginalized because of this ruling. Does anyone have any questions? I know I just spoke a lot. Elena, oh, it's okay, Elena. No problem. Does everyone kind of understand what this latest ruling means? Does anyone have any questions? If not, that's totally fine. Cool. So, um, I want to jump into our discussion now that I have spoken for 20 minutes about how we can respond to this recent attack along with the executive orders that have previously been released by the current administration. So, just as a reminder, our coalition goals for this year are to register 50 voters, increase voter access, and build the power of the disability vote. So, some engagement ideas that we could jump into. We could run a collaborative voter registration drive. We could create a voting guide. We could host, in the run up to the general election, a disability-centered candidate forum. We could do poll watching. And these are just a few examples. And I really want us to just kind of toss ideas around and then towards the end of today's meeting, figure out specifically which direction we want to head towards so that we can, get things cranking for the rest of the year. So, some questions before we jump into our discussion. What communities will be the most impacted by recent executive orders and attacks against the Voting Rights Act? How can we register people to vote within these communities? What organizations and grassroots group can we engage and uplift within these communities who are already doing this work? And how can we create lasting relationships with these groups? So oops, sorry. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can all see each other. And if you feel comfortable, I would say go ahead and come on camera so that we can all talk. And just how are we feeling about this recent news? What do we think we can do to kind of support our communities and other marginalized communities in response to this news?
I think I go with your first idea, which was a voter drive or something like you did. And I would also connect with I would also connect with Mark Pritchard and Van Tillman and see if their groups want to go with us with the voting thing.
Yeah, so that's a great suggestion. And I think Danelle's actually here, and I think you know them. Is Danelle? They were here. Oh yeah, so I believe that the Humanizing or the Alliance received a movement grant from Rev Up National. So they wanted to focus on registering people to vote in nursing homes, I believe. And Rosbell and Fran had already actually reached out to me to see if we can collaborate on something similar, or if our members could support them and how we can kind of work together. So I think you're right. You're like on the perfect track, Bob.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that this was already happening.
No, it's okay. I mean, you um you guessed it correctly. I think that was a great suggestion. Beth, did you have something to say?
I I'm like Bob, like if the two organizations work together, I think that would be good because everybody anywhere has every right to vote,
Mhm.
no
Absolutely.
matter where their living situation is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you guys.
so I have a kind of an idea, maybe.
Go ahead.
Do you think like Dark and Rev Up can like maybe like do like something on social media where they can post it and people can contact them if they would want to sign up to vote,
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I
you know,
can
across all the platforms, and then like, you know, maybe the members of the group of the Rev Up can also share it on their platforms also.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's something we can do really easily too.
Yes. Maybe.
This is Frank. I think several of us probably are connected to groups that have a presence at the Disability Pride Parade, where there's a tabling um, aspect kind of at the end of the parade, and maybe if we set up a voter registration thing there at the tabling event, that could be helpful.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Yes, it's
And I
just
think, do you know, Frank, if the registrations have opened already
To
for
sign
that?
up as a group to
Yeah.
participate. That I don't know off the top of my head, but I can check.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we could very easily do that. Who here would be interested in helping work the Disability Pride Parade?
I would.
Okay, so just drop in the chat if you think you would be interested, and I will make a list of us, and then once I
Chicago, right? Right.
once we find out if the registration is open, we can just go ahead and get started. I think that's a really good idea. Oh, it is open. Elena, are you on the board or the steering committee?
No, but I'm part of Trans Up Front. I'm on the
Oh,
Accessibility
nice.
Advisory Board for Trans Up Front. And so we do both the Pride Parade and the Disability Pride Parade. So they
Awesome.
also table that. So, and I
Yay.
double checked on the website, but yeah, you can, there's a form that you can register for online to have a table at Daily Plaza.
Awesome. Okay. We'll definitely do that. That's a great suggestion. So it looks like we've got a handful of people who are interested. It is free to attend, so all of us should come. If you are interested in tabling, then I will kind of like make a list and I'll go ahead and fill out the registration form. If not tomorrow, then early next week, and we can go ahead and start planning for that. We'll create like a separate small planning meeting for those of us who know we'll be able to attend. And we'll talk about kind of the logistics of the day and exactly what we'd like to have going on at the table.
This
Um,
is in
Go
this
ahead, Karthik.
right? It's coming in. It's in
I think
July.
it's July, right?
Uh, in Chicago.
where is it going to be held at?
In Chicago.
It's in downtown Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rio,
Yes, April.
do you think like when they have the transition fairs, that could be something that is like to have flyers out with that, or is that not something that we would do there?
Yeah, absolutely. I already have some resources for transition fairs. It's like a page of QR codes that leads you to voter registration, and I usually bring my laptop to register people.
Hmm.
The great thing is that there's more like incentive now among staff to register people to vote in the SODCs. So the majority of people who are living there should be registered to vote. And if they're not, then we always like connect them to our um, information basically. So yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to continue doing that and be proactive about that practice. We've got some comments in the chat. Uh, Danelle, you can get the county's voter lists, just the numbers, like active and inactive voters on the State Board of Elections website. And
Okay.
I actually had it pulled up, but I lost it. I think I
Because I was
clicked.
trying to get the who was registered, the amount of people who were registered in the assisted living and long-term care facilities.
Ooh,
And I've been having trouble figuring out who I talked to get the list.
Yeah.
gotcha.
So that
Okay.
we know how many people were registered,
Mhm.
where people are registered, so we know how to approach that.
Yeah, so the only resources that I found that were publicly available were just like counties by number. So it
Mhm.
didn't really like delineate the demographics within the counties. But my
Okay.
guess is that if we reach out to the State Board of Elections, they'll have that information. I'm not
Okay.
sure, I mean, I'm assuming it's publicly available information. I don't know.
S-
Um, yes,
And
Frank,
I've
So
been
you might know
technically,
though.
Technically, yes, but you have to pay for it.
Okay.
And so if you want all voter data in Illinois, I'm just basing this off of the Illinois State Board of Elections, but if you want the full state's worth of voter data, it's $500, and
Okay.
then it's a smaller amount based on specific counties. But you have to fill out a form, and then I think mail it in. Otherwise, if you like have an account with like a NGP van or something like that, if you're a political campaign, you can, use a third party service, but I don't
Okay.
think any of us here are that.
I
So
don't think so either. We may be able to use our grant to pay for that if you guys think that it's really important. I personally do. In the lead up to this meeting, I was trying to find demographic information. I found a statewide report that kind of, I'll drop it here. Let's see. You may be able to access this, but you might not. That shows like, okay, no. I'll just have to send it afterwards. I don't want to bother you guys by looking around, but I found like a statewide report that breaks down things down by like race, language, age, and
That you
there's a few other categories. But it's just like a single one-page sheet and it doesn't have anything broken down
that's
by.
perfect that you're able to find that. But
What was that, Karthik?
I said that's really good that you're able to find the breakdowns by voter data.
Yes, but it wasn't like as detailed as I wanted it
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
to be. But I think, I mean, if you guys think that it's worth it, then I would say um let's go ahead and try to purchase that statewide voter data
Okay.
list.
Oh yes, and you
What do
sent
you guys think? Do you think that's something that would
one.
be
Okay.
worth spending $500 on?
I think
Does it
so because I think it
actually
would give
have the
us a better.
information connected to voters that, because a lot of information about voters is private. Like the fact that you are registered to vote is public, but
Mhm.
like who you vote for and all of that stuff isn't. And then like, but I don't know how much demographic data would actually be in there. I think we should find somebody who knows that exactly before we spend money on it.
Totally.
And I just linked a Google Doc in the chat that has what I've gotten so far. I've been calling the different counties. I have like 4 counties so far about what their policy is around voting in facilities and what their policy is on registering people to vote in facilities.
Cool.
So I'm still waiting to hear back from Cook County and Chicago, but I have some more from like Central Illinois that have responded.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I'll keep compiling that, but
Okay.
I have so far. So
Great.
that's helpful to this conversation.
Yeah, I think so. So um, just a reminder, Rev Up is not IDD specific, so we can our goal like it is to register anyone with a disability, and I mean the overlap is very clear with the elder community, so I think it would definitely be worth our time to like start supporting the alliance in that effort however possible. So I don't know if Danelle, you're the point person for that, or if we should involve Fran and Raspel or
Yeah, everyone's kind of taking on a different part of it.
okay.
And I also included like community centers, Center for Independent Livings. So I'm trying to include all of that information so we can kind of like wrap around making sure
Cool.
we're like finding people where they gather.
Awesome.
I don't know. I was trying to think of where the best place was to like go to. All right. Also, a few of the places suggested that we become deputy registrars to register people to vote.
Okay, totally.
I don't know what that looks like. So that's something that I was going to look into more this week, but I've been kind of sick this week. So
Has anyone ever been a deputy registrar here?
No,
Know more about that process?
Mm.
well, what's that?
Bob, the deputy registrar is, okay, I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna just make sure that I'm an official appointed to assist a registrar in administrative, clerical, or regulatory duties, often involving voter registration, vital records, or other official documentation. So it sounds like one of us could get registered to support whoever at the state who needs support. Go ahead, Elena.
Hmm.
It says on the Board of Elections, a civic organization that wants to participate in voter registration must apply for certification from the SBE as a bona fide state civic organization. The organization must then apply to individual election authorities to have registrars appointed.
Okay, so that's something that we could probably go through. Did you take a look at the application and see what it might entail?
I will. Hold on. Let's see here.
Is anyone here interested in like working as a poll worker, signing up to be a deputy registrar,
Although,
anything, being a poll watcher?
Yes.
Yes, we got some yeses. Awesome.
it looks like that precincts committee people are already deputy registrars, it looks
Hmm.
like.
Okay.
So if you are friends with your local precinct committee people, they could help.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Beth, you have your hand raised.
I just wanted you guys to know this is very interesting. But like they said, like, if you have people that are friends within the area, which is we do, our family knows a lot of people that work at the election polls or on the county board, stuff like that. So
Awesome. So should we
yes,
set up a meeting or something?
and so like, everybody knows everybody or they're related to them, one of the two.
Cool. Well,
It is.
maybe you could ask one of your family members or friends about the deputy registrar process.
Hmm.
I can check on that.
Okay, cool.
Just remind me to.
Sure.
Thank
Bob, go
you.
ahead. Yeah, of course. Thank you. I think Bob first and then Kira.
What I was going to say was,
Hmm.
I would be interested in doing it, except, uh, uh, um, I would, I would ask you, to join me because I would need some of your help.
Yeah, of course. If that's something you're interested in, you wouldn't not be tossed in there alone without support.
Because I don't want to be like you just said, going, okay, I want to these, but I can't do that.
No.
I get stuck. I don't want to get stuck. So that's the only thing. I would ask of you is
Hmm.
to help me. To help me once I become one of these.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what
That's
we're
all.
here for. Kira.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
This is Kira. So I used to work at Progress Center for Independent Living. They're the Center for Independent Living that serves suburban Cook County. So between Progress Center and then Access Living, our Centers for Independent Living serve all of Chicagoland. So I was a community reintegration advocate, and there's community reintegration advocates at every single center for independent living. So we're just knowing generally the limited staff that are at centers for independent living. I'm just trying to think of how you could amplify your efforts. So our community reintegration advocates are the one group of staff that actually directly communicates and can have access to nursing homes and other long-term care facilities, since we are already working with people in these institutions who and are trying to get them back out in the community. And I would even argue that ensuring that making sure that they are registered to vote is part of reintegrating back into the community. So as you reach out to our CILs, I would say, talk to the program directors. Usually that's a better person to talk to than their executives, depending on the center. But see if you bring that up and see if that's a way to tap into it. And then on top of that, now I haven't worked at Progress Center for about a year and a half, but around the time when I stopped working there, there was also an effort to educate people in nursing homes and other facilities who qualify to transition through the Colbert Consent Decree Transition Program. Unfortunately, that state-funded program is only for people who live in City of Chicago and suburban Cook County. But I know that Progress Center, for an example, has hired additional people to go into these facilities to educate people about this transition program that the nursing homes have been failing to tell them about. And so that perhaps could be something else that they could also spread information about or assist with registering and so forth, since they're already there in the facility. I could see Progress Center being open to that. I don't know if Access Living takes on this type of effort, at least to educate folks who qualify for the COBRA program, but it doesn't hurt to ask their independent living department and see what they could do in that regard. So I hope that that's helpful.
Yeah, it's super helpful. That's a really great suggestion. I love that idea. Frank, do you know I know you don't work in community transition, but
Right. What I was going to say is that sounds like homework for me. I mean, I know that like we do have our team that does community transition and isn't embedded in the nursing homes. I can't speak for them as to how much capacity or willingness they'd be willing to engage on this, but it's something that I can at least find out about.
totally. Cool. Well, I think that's a great direction to go, is just leaning on already existing networks and kind of establishing relationships with organizations that are already doing this hard work, and seeing how we can kind of use our statewide network to uplift local efforts. So yeah, absolutely. If anyone on here is like a consumer at a SIL that isn't Access Living, I know folks at Progress Center and Life SIL and
Yeah,
Lifelong
I'm with the
Access.
lifestyle and
Um,
lifelong access
okay,
here
yeah.
in
So
Bloomington. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because you're in Bloomington, Karthik. So it seems like we've got like some places to start in
Mhm.
terms of SILs to reach out to, and we can just
Lifelong
continue.
access is the group, is the service age, is the, what's it called, the group home agent or whatever it's called. So yeah.
Nice.
Yes, I could talk to them if you
Okay,
want.
sounds good. Yeah, you and me can talk to them. I think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Beth.
Our local CO for services is Impact in Alton.
Okay.
And I just put the information in the chat for the Unsil rally for next week
Great.
with the link to the registration. It's somewhere early in the chat. And then I just detailed in there that, like, hey, if you guys wanted to put a table out for information there, you probably could.
And that's in Springfield.
It is at the Capitol, and it
Okay.
starts at 10 or 10:30 next Thursday morning.
Okay. I am unavailable on that day because I'm gonna
Okay.
be at an event, not a transition fair, but a different resource
Oh yeah,
fair.
that'll be fun.
So I'll have some voter information out there. Is anyone planning to be in Springfield for this rally day
Yes,
with Insil?
I'll be there.
You'll be there. So maybe Beth, if you want, you could bring some voter registration forms with you and pass them out to people if you want. That's
I'll
up to
have to
you.
print some off or something.
Okay. You're not in Chicago, right?
No, I'm in Jerseyville.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say I could print some and
Yeah.
get them to you, but yeah, only if you have capacity to, because I'm sure you'll be doing legislator meetings, so you may be busy.
Yeah, we'll be like
Um,
having the rally and probably going to offices, I'm pretty sure.
cool. Well, I hope it goes well for you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Real.
Yes.
Is there
April.
a way, since she's going, maybe if there's like a QR code like she could get sent to, like, for people to scan it, if she's not able to print them off?
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
QR
that's
code
up
would
to
be good.
Beth,
That
but
would be even easier.
that's
Yeah,
an
that would
awesome
be
idea.
even easier for people.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think of doing that. Beth, is that something you'd be interested in?
What was it again?
So
Like,
April suggested that we make you a QR code that you can have on your phone that goes directly to a voter registration
no, yeah,
form.
that's a good idea.
Okay, so I can make that for you and send it to you. And maybe while you're at the Capitol, if you just want to ask around to people and say, hey, are you
See if they're
registered to vote?
registered to vote.
Yeah,
I can do that.
cool. Awesome. Great
Like
idea.
after the rally or.
And it would
Thanks.
be cool to hear updates if you've got anybody to, that would that would um um want to vote, to sign up. That'd be cool to get some,
Yes.
you know, hear about,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Kira.
Hi, this is Kira. So, Frank, I just wanted to differentiate um, and you might already know this, like what Progress Center does versus Access Living regarding community reintegration. Like Access Living community reintegration advocates have a contract within the Colbert Transition Program to assist with what do they call those agencies? Like age option. It's not age options particularly. Shoot, prime agencies. They're contracted within the serving as a prime agency. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Keep going because I
Okay.
may, but
Okay, so
I don't work in.
Progress Center doesn't have a contract within the Colbert Consent Decree Transition Program, whereas Access Living was selected as the SIL to assist with this state-funded mandated program. And so there might be different limitations within Access Living than what Progress Center has. So it would be interesting to know is who's helping with. I know that Progress Center is, I don't know otherwise, but who are the folks who are going around traveling to the nursing homes? But another thought with our centers for independent living in general is that registration could be part of their intake process, not just within community reintegration, but if you're looking to get people who also live in the community of their choice currently, that can be just part of like a part of their again across the board intake process. And so then if they want the QR code to get to the site, we could email it to them. People could, or SILs can certainly mail the information, the form to people too. But that was something that I had talked to Shelley Richardson, who is the head of our statewide independent living council, about, in terms of their goal to improve people's emergency preparedness. And so that, I know that I don't know how it's going now, but preparing, checking in with people as part of the intake process, so that way it doesn't become like additional hassle for people as much, but trying to like just tack on to what people are already doing, is what I'm getting at. And that's also could be a conversation to have with John Herring too. I hope I'm not repeating things that you already know. I'm just happy to join.
No, I mean, if you're just saying in general, like including voter registration as far as like still consumer intake, I mean, I think that sounds like a really great idea. Um, I work more on the advocacy side, so I don't do many intakes, but I mean, I would love to have it. I don't know if the folks who do it would love to have another um thing to check on a checkbox, but it doesn't seem like it would add that much to it.
This is Kira. Great. I know that Progress Center, when I worked there, had that be one of their questions. I don't think there was as much mobilization around it. So at least at Progress Center, Rio, that's something or whoever is wanting to connect with our SILs, to double check, because I know that is that should be a part of their protocol. Whether the protocol should be updated, improved, enforced is another thing. But
Right.
yeah, it could already be part of their practice already. They might need friendly reminders or help with making that truly possible.
Yeah, I love that idea. I love what you're bringing up, Kira, about just kind of using already existing kind of modes to get folks registered. So like the intake and yeah, folks who are involved in transition. I think that's very clever. And since we are a smaller coalition at this point, we should all be kind of like using our brains in that way and seeing how can we, as a statewide coalition, uplift and connect to the work of local organizations who are already doing really hard work to connect with their communities. I think those are great ideas. So it's 6:53. So I think we've had a lot of excellent ideas today. So some concrete things that we'd like to focus on. First, Disability Pride Parade. We're also going to learn a little bit more about the deputy registrar and poll watching roles. I can connect with folks who I know who are in leadership at the SILs that I know, and then I may be reaching out to the rest of you guys to see what other connections you have. And then something I really wanted to mention really quickly, in January, our leadership, Jennifer and I and Samantha had a meeting with the League of Women Voters of Illinois, and we discussed possibly hosting a disability-centered candidate forum in the run up to the general election in November. So we discussed possibly hosting this forum in September or October.
That would
So
be
the League of Women Voters asked us to reach out to them during the summer to kind of get started in the planning of that work. I wanted to bring this up as a possibility for us to see who would be interested in one, connecting with the organization that you're part of to see if they would be interested in helping host this event, and two, who here would be interested in being like very involved in the planning process of something like this? Or do we think that this is something we don't really have capacity to take on?
I'll do it.
Okay. Of course.
And and uh, and I will real if you have a if you have something written up about what you just talked about, I can shoot it to I can shoot it to my Mike and see if the article will be part of this too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we had discussed for accessibility's sake for this to be a virtual forum, so that makes it
Yeah,
easier for it to
it
be
would be
a
on
It
Zoom.
statewide
does.
forum. And the sooner that we get started on this, kind of like the larger the office we can consider. So there is a gubernatorial race this year, and I think, I mean, obviously that's shooting really high, but
Yeah,
I
it
think
goes
it
to
would be really cool to
yeah, it
have
goes down to
the
print to come.
disability-centered gubernatorial candidate forum.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
go ahead, Bradley.
Yeah, opponent anyways.
Since this is going to be a virtual thing, I would like to also be involved in this
Okay,
because I feel like it could be really interesting. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Cool. Great.
It's
So we can discuss this in our next meeting, but first off, I'm gonna register us for Disability Pride Parade. If you put your name in the chat that you're interested in that, I will reach out to you. If you're interested and you did not put your name in the chat, go ahead and drop it in here, so that I know. Beth, do you have something to add before
I
we
was
close
just
out?
gonna say that, so like, what type of a forum would it be?
It would be like a candidate forum.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah, I think that would be interesting.
awesome. So maybe we can discuss the candidate forum in our next meeting then.
Oh yeah,
Um,
hopefully I'll be able to be on here.
yeah, hopefully. Okay, so it's 6:57. I do want to close us out. Access Living had a disability focused mayoral candidate forum, so perhaps you could learn from what they did. Absolutely. And I would love Bob. Okay. I would definitely be interested in trying to get Access Living involved,
just
and
said put your
Progress
name
Center
on
too.
it.
Yeah, I for sure. I'll make sure that you're on the list. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to our presentation so that we can finish out. I think this was a great and constructive discussion, and I
It
feel
is.
confident that we're going to be able to reach our goal of registering 50 voters, and really just like continuing to build the power of the disability vote. And I'm going to pass things back to April so that she can close us out. April, do you want to read this slide?
Sorry, I was muted.
No problem.
Going Home Coalition member meeting May 20th from 6 to 7. June 4th from 6 to 7. Rev Up member meeting. I'm grow up, but it's not letting me. There we go. Education series, Justice, Reform, and the IDD Experience, June 17th and July 15th, 6 to 7. Americans Against Qualified Immunity, Illinois Network for Pretrial Justice. Next slide. And then we have the digital literacy series, Fraud and Scams, May 12th, Internet Security, May 19th, Online Safety, May 26th, and Digital Citizenship, June 2nd. Next slide. Thank you for attending today's meeting.
Thanks so much, everyone. It was great to see you
Guys,
guys.
have a good night.
See you next month.
Bye bye.
Thank you. I'll see you on. Bye.